Katie, thank you for joining me. Would you like to start by telling me a little bit about the history of Young Lives?
Yeah, Young Lives is a voluntary sector organisation that formed in April 2006. It came about from two separate organisations that were assessed externally, and it identified that there was lots of overlaps between the work we were doing. So two organisations came together, both of them were dissolved and reformed as Young Lives in April 2006. And that's when I joined the organisation.
So you've been here almost from the beginning then?
Yeah, which is great. So seen it grow and evolve over time, which is fab. Yeah.
And tell me about the area that you cover.
So we are a voluntary sector organisation, and we support, we do two key things. One is to support voluntary organisations working in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, and the other is more frontline delivery work around empowering young people to become actively involved in their communities and have their voices heard.
So with the community activities that you do, some of that is led by you and some of it is where other organisations come to you wanting to work in partnership. I'm quite interested in this sort of story about the Blunty factor. Could you tell me a bit about that?
Blunty factor is, when I first joined Young Lives, I was working on a project called Partnership Action in Rural Communities, or PARC project, affectionately. And that was all about working with young people in villages where there wasn't much youth provision and supporting them to organise events and activities to have their voices heard and get them involved in local decision making. So a lot of it was about working with young people, working with parish councils to support the parish councils to be able to involve young people better, and also to educate young people about how they can actually get their voices heard, who they need to speak to bring about change.
What did you hope to achieve?
The main thing we wanted to do was to empower young people to get involved in local decision making. And so by doing that, we were effectively a bridge between young people and parish councils. So we were working with parish councils to help them to understand how they could better involve young people. And we were also working with young people to educate them about what parish councils do and how, by working with parish councils, young people's voices can better be heard.
This obviously went on to develop into something much, much more.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. Unfortunately, the funding for the Plantation Park project came to an end. But out of it, the young people had learned that they could have their voices heard. They knew what they needed to do. They were used to applying for funding to set up projects and activities. So they actually then went on to, after Young Lives withdrew sort of their involvement with the group, they went to the parish councils off their own back. They secured their own funding and they negotiated to take over the old village hall, which was disused, not being used by anybody. And the parish council agreed to it. And what that means is they now have a fully furbished youth club in their village, led by young people, offering provision that was never there before. So as a result of our involvement, the young people knew what they needed to do, they were able to apply for funding, and they've since gone on to set up a really successful youth club, which has now gone full circle and is a member of Young Lives. So we support them with their CRB checks, we offer them training, advice, guidance, etc. through our support role at Young Lives.
That's a real empowerment story there, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's fun. Yeah, it was a great privilege to be involved with as well. So yeah.
That's a fantastic story about empowering young people as a group, and not all your work is actually working with groups of young people. I believe you've got a story about a young person, a young individual who's tipped for stardom.
Yeah, we do. It's brilliant. I mentioned earlier, Young Lives does two main things. One is to support voluntary organisations working with children and young people, and the other is to do more of the frontline delivery work ourselves. We do that in a number of ways, but one of them is through an annual competition called Young Cambridgeshire's Got Talent. And that is where young people can come along. It's an opportunity to showcase their skills, whatever they may be, comedy, singing, dancing, whatever they're interested in and passionate about. And we have area heats, and then there's a county final. And this year we had our county champion was Amy Pitt-Webb, and she was absolutely fantastic. when Amy was involved with us, we told her about another opportunity, which was a nice progression on from Young Cambridge's Got Talent to something called Bling Ya Thing. She entered it, and she has now gone on and has been shortlisted as one of the 3 national finalists for this competition.
Amy, when did you start singing?
I started singing before I was 3, actually. Yeah, just sort of, you know, in the kitchen with the little plastic microphone that Mum had got me, sort of Spice Girls and whatever. Somebody at Young Lives told me about a competition in Cambridge called Bling Ya Ting, which was at the Cambridge Corn Exchange. So I had to go for an audition, went for the audition, got through to the final, which was going to be at the Corn Exchange, and then went to the final, took along my friends with me, and they were all like, you know, way, go Amy, sort of thing. I think there was 35 acts there, singers, dancers, songwriters.
And they've all auditioned to get there.
And they've all auditioned to get there. And they were split into categories, and I won my category and got some studio time, and a medal and all of that. And then the winners of the categories got put forward to the semi-finals of UK Unsigned, which was what I went to last week. So it's all down to Young Lives that's happened to me. And
well, so you're following in the footsteps of one of your heroes then?
Yeah, because Leona went to UK Unsigned before she entered the X Factor, and she won it as well. And when we was at the semi-finals, there was a big poster of her on the stage, and Katie Melua won before, and then Dubs won, and Flawless from Britain's Got Talent, they've won before.
So you're in good company then.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they had to pick 3 top teen singers from the UK, and I got picked as the top 3 to go forward to the final next month. So I was really chuffed about that as well, because I sort of thought it was, you know, what chance have I got? Everyone was great because they'd had to win things to get there, and it was really good. But it's all down to Young Lives, really. She will love you more than I could. She who dares to stand where I stood.
Amy, tell me about this CD that you recorded.
Yeah, no, I recorded it last year. Yeah, and it's available now if anybody wanted one. You know, contact me through Twitter or YouTube, or hopefully someone's going to set up a website at some point soon.
And your Facebook.
And Facebook, yeah. I've got everyone's got Facebook.
People can get involved in a lot of different ways. So if young people are interested in finding out more, they can get involved in our volunteering programmes, they can help us with our Get Creative projects, they can help us organise our events that we run across the county. We'd love to hear from anyone.
Shift happens.
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 Shift happens!